This is Dragons Live, presented by Form Communications.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Dragons Live Football Signing Day Special. Hopefully you've been keeping up with the signees throughout the day on Twitter or on MSUMDragons.com/sign day. And if not, that's what we're here for, to break down some of the signees today who will be joining the Dragon football family. We've got head football coach Steve Laqua in the studio today joining us. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I'm fired up, as Peters would say.
Yeah, we're all fired up at Dragon Athletics. So definitely fired up about this 2015 football recruiting class. Tell us a little bit about what the coaches were trying to accomplish with this group.
Well, I think for us, a philosophy that we've had since we've been here is to make sure that we get the best Division II athletes from this region. And we don't want to just pick up guys from this region. We want to pick up the best guys from this region. I think we did that again this year, and we've had a lot of guys over the course of the last 4 years that we've been here that have been guys that have contributed. I think at one point last season we had 17 or 18 of our starters came from the states of Minnesota and North Dakota. And so you look at our class again this year, 2/3 of them from the states of Minnesota and North Dakota. And so we've kept true to our roots, true to our backbone of where the critical mass of our football program comes from. And I think that's an exciting piece. We also look this year as far as wanting to build for the future and where we need to be in the future. And in the past, it's been we need kind of some instant help at some position to make some jumps. With only one senior that started last year on our football team, we got the majority of that nucleus back and playing. We need to build for the future with guys that can redshirt and take us to the next level as they get their time to be able to play within the program. And so kind of looking at the long term and have a long-term greedy approach to this class.
Well, sure, and you talked about one senior on the roster, or starting last year. There's going to be a lot more seniors in this upcoming year. I mean, that has to factor into a little bit of the recruiting tactics.
Well, certainly a different case for us in the fact that we now will have a lot of seniors that are graduating and seniors that have contributed a lot to our football program. And that's not necessarily, we haven't had a mass of that many seniors with that critical of role within the team that have been graduating. So we have a big class that's going to move on at the end of the year. So we've got to have a great class that's going to redshirt and be able to develop and get themselves in position to play as soon as that class is gone.
And the style of play that you have, play fast is what your email says. So when you have a lot of plays and reps, and I'm sure you get the same reps in practice, that depth in the recruiting classes has got to help at all positions.
Well, that was a huge transition as we've made offensively in the last 2 years to change the style and the pace of play that we play at. 525 yards a game last year and 6th in the country, I believe, and top 20 rushing. But we had the second most plays per game in the nation. And so when you're practicing, when you're playing like that, you got to practice like that. And so the great thing about our program, because we're practicing so fast, we're getting more reps in a lot of places. And so that really allows us to be able to get some great reps with our third group and our young guys and really get them developed. And so it's critical that we have a full-fledged depth of group of teams, a first team, a second team, a third team, a fourth team that can come in and they can get reps and they can develop. And I think everyone's on a college football team that want to play. You maybe can't play in the game, but you're going to play in practice, and I think that's the unique thing about our program and our pace. You get to do that, and so this class was critical in us being able to do that and develop everybody across the board from top to bottom to get where we need to be and where we want to be in the future.
Well, let's talk about the future of Dragon football, starting with the offensive side of the ball and starting with the quarterback, 6'5", 225, Dylan Card.
Absolutely. Start with the quarterback. That's what makes it go. You can see that he had over 3,000 yards rushing and passing. 9-man player in Minnesota. We've had some great success with those small town guys, but Dylan, I believe, only had about 4 interceptions in his entire career. So it tells you that he takes care of the football, he values it, and he's going to make great decisions. And within our offense and within our system, we need a quarterback that can make great decisions. And so he's a smart young man that does those things. You can see by his size that he's going to add a rushing kind of factor to our football team. He's a difficult man to bring down, and so we're looking forward to the things that he brings to the table.
And, you know, I'm a South Dakota native, so I always got to root for the South Dakotans on the sheet today, starting with Jonathan Kabambi from Harrisburg.
Absolutely. We feel like we got a great one out of your state in South Dakota. And Jonathan, you know, an Argus leader, elite, or 45 team member, almost 7 yards per carry, over 1,500 yards. He had some big interest from the FCS schools within our region, certainly highly recruited out of our conference. And so Jonathan was a good get for the Dragon football family. Really liked the way that he is a tough physical runner. He's 210 pounds, but he runs believe it or not, he ran a faster 40 time in high school than Zane Medhog did. And so when you're looking at our football team, it's going to need to run the football and grind the clock out. It's good that we get a guy that can really be physical within the tackles and be able to do that behind an offensive line and secure a victory. And that's maybe something that we haven't done well in the past.
And recruiting your own backyard is something you have done very well in your time here. And let's talk about Fargo native, Shanley High School player Danny Stosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny from Shanley, a special place to me, and we've been able to watch Danny play and really like the fact that he is so versatile. I mean, almost 400 yards in his career, over 52 touchdowns. He's been an all-state player for three times. He's, you know, the East Region Player of the Year. We've had some great AA football players at North Dakota. You know, Adam Jisker is one of those guys that's been a phenomenal player for us. And you're looking and going, Danny allows us to be able to continue what we're doing offensively. He is versatile. He can line up in the backfield. He can get the ball on the perimeter as a pass. You can see right there, you know, he catches a pitch and can take it to the perimeter and make things happen. Pretty similar to some things that we do within our offense. And so we're really excited about the fact that he's got a skill set that fits our offensive system, allows us to keep doing what we've been doing and building upon what we've been doing. And so really exciting to have both those two young backs in different roles that we both need to be able to keep moving our offense forward.
Let's talk about a big 6'6", 215 tight end in Ryan Mattingly.
Yeah, out of Minnetonka, and a great school that has a great football program. We've got some guys within our program that are from Minnetonka, and so I think that certainly helped. I think you got to give some credit to Coach Danny Fatland. Ryan transferred within schools in the cities area, and so Danny was able to keep track of them, had his ear close to the ground, heard the rumblings, knew what was going on. And so what we really like, you can see here about Ryan, he can line up on the perimeter and be a physical blocker. When we're playing as fast as we play, the ability to have a tight end that can line up on the line of scrimmage and block and be a threat, and a guy that can line up on the perimeter and do things without having to substitute is a great advantage for us. We love the way he finishes. You can see on this block just to get a guy to the ground, and maybe one of the better finishers that we've recruited in the last few years. And so with his frame, his athleticism, really got a huge upside for us at the tight end position. Really fired up to have him.
And we have a whole core of new wide receivers joining the Dragon football family. Let's start with Adam Bresky.
Adam Bresky, right down the road, another AA player from the state of North Dakota. We've had a lot of success with those guys, but had big career as far as 81 catches, 1,600 yards. I mean, that's almost unheard of in the state of North Dakota. And so love the way that he's a multi-sport guy, tremendous track athlete with top-end speed. Love watching him compete. He's a shifty guy on the basketball floor for a really good basketball team, and so he adjusts to the football, as you could see on that previous highlight, in the air, very very much like Adam Jisker does. We like that his ball skills are like that. He can jump and make a play, great vertical. We like he can line up here in the slot and do some things and make some people miss with that shiftiness. And so versatility that Adam provides as an inside threat and outside threat, I think even getting the football handed off to him. And so he's got a lot of things that he brings to the table and allow our offense to continue to grow and expand in those areas.
And Farmington's Hunter Ehlers.
Yeah, Hunter is a guy that, you know what, was a great academic fit for our program, the right kind of character fit for our program, had a good senior year. You're looking at almost 1,000 yards receiving. And so Hunter was a guy that we needed to add to our football program with a huge upside through his redshirt year and take us to the next level.
I apologize, Hunter Ehlers. Excuse me on that one. Let's go to Connor Hempf, 6'3", 215 wide receiver.
Yeah, Connor had a tremendous season, you know, almost 900 yards and over 50 catches. A guy that we saw at camp this summer, and the coaches saw how he could do drills, how he competed, how he interacted with his coaches and his teammates, and really thought it was the right fit for us. And so we were on him in recruiting. He had some other offers within our conference. We just saw a huge upside to a big athlete that can run well and has got great hands and great character person.
What about Bryce Meal from Oaks, North Dakota?
Bryce Meal, another single A player of the year. We had the 9-man player of the year in Hunter Broughton a year ago at quarterback. Here's another quarterback as a player of the year. Again, we're going to play them both at wide receiver. Bryce has just a huge upside. You know, he had a tremendous career as a quarterback. He's got great top end speed. He's really shifty and can make people miss, which you see him scrambling around as a quarterback doing those things. We love being able to have a guy that's that. He's a multi-sport athlete. He's a great academic fit for our institution. One of the guys that received an automatic academic scholarship. And so I don't know if we could say enough good things about who he is, both on and off the field as a person and a player.
Going all the way over to Naperville, Illinois for Evan Moore.
Yeah, Evan, didn't get as many catches he maybe wanted his junior year, but playing behind a University of Illinois star this year as a freshman. He was named to the all-freshman team. I had over 1,000 yards, and Mike Duddick, and so we were able to find Evan in his senior year, and he's a big-bodied guy at 6'2" that has the shiftiness of an inside guy, and so we like that he can make plays on the outside, but because of what he's shown as far as making people miss, we think he's got some versatility to be used in the slot, and so I think anytime receivers can have that ability to play both, it creates a little bit of a mismatch for defenses, and so we like that Adam does that. Great family, great academic fit. Really happy that he's coming this far from home to be a part of the Dragon family.
Another big wide receiver, 6'4", 195 from Menominee, Hayden Swartz.
Yeah, Hayden, just a tremendous person, FCA leader within his school. Going the pre-med route, had a great academic visit here on campus. It was really pivotal, I believe, in his decision to come here. We saw Hayden at camp. We love the way that he ran routes. He's got a knack for it. He's got ball skills where he can adjust within the air. He's got soft hands for a big man. You know, his season was maybe a little bit disappointing from a statistical standpoint. Had an injury to a quarterback that, as a junior, had already committed to a Big Ten school, and so had a sophomore quarterback in there and didn't get as many balls thrown his way as he probably would have wanted, but continued to battle and block and really keep his head up and have a great positive attitude. And I think that resiliency is something we want. But Hayden, I think, had an offer from just about everybody within our conference, and so to have a guy that's highly sought after as him join our program is a big step and a really exciting time.
A lot of really good weapons that we just got to talk about with the Dragon offense, but there's a big group of guys up front that need to do a lot of work to make everything successful for Dragon football. And we'll talk about the linemen when we come back on the Dragons Live Football Signing Day Special.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
Welcome back to the Dragons Live Football Signing Day Special. I'm John Wepking, joined here by head football coach Steve Laqua. We just went over some of the offensive weapons, but there's a big group of guys up front that have to do a lot of work in order to make everything successful for as many plays as that you run, adding some depth in this year's recruiting class. Let's get into the O-linemen, starting with 6'5", 290, Nathan Belisle.
Yeah, Nathan comes small town Wisconsin, but he looked big size, and so he's got a huge upside. We like the way that his athleticism shows up. We certainly have done well with small town players within our football program. They've been able to thrive. They've been able to develop within our culture, within our weight room. Travis Anderson, Matt Tafe have done a phenomenal job being able to develop those guys, and so we think there's a huge ceiling to Nathan. You know, as far as being able to get used to playing at this level and pass protecting and all those things, but he's got the physicalness, he's got the size, he's the right kind of guy for our football program.
And I see a familiar name coming up next in Bixler, Sam this time.
Sam Bixler, brother Jack on the football team already as a sophomore this last season, and so Sam, just a guy that we were able to obviously know for quite a while. He's been to a lot of games, but we saw him at camp and how he competed against some of the best players players in this region and really follow him. A guy that's been starting for 2 years at Minnetonka, which is no small feat. A physical blocker, a guy that, you know, could be able to come in and be able to play right away if need be, but it's a guy that we feel can really develop with a redshirt year and work out some of the kinks as far as technique goes. But excited to have another Bixler because he comes from a great family, and so to be able to have him on board, another player from Minnetonka, certainly a good thing for our football program moving in that direction.
Let's talk about John Bylock.
Yeah, John, just huge frame, 6'6", 240. He's got a huge upside. He's athletic. You look, he lettered in volleyball, so he can move around. Dad was a power lifter, but just this huge guy that can put on a lot of weight, can really kind of fine tune some of his technique skills. A redshirt year would be phenomenal for him, but he's the type of body type that we want moving forward as we're moving the program to new levels.
And Peter Durand from Warren, Minnesota.
Yeah, Peter, you know, another 9-man guy that we saw at camp this summer. Loved the way he competed. Multi-sport guy again. Dad was an alum that played here, and so to have all those pieces fit together, great academic fit. Peter brings a lot to the table. His athleticism reminds me a lot of the guys that have been successful as high-end Division II football players that develop their body as kind of maybe basketball players coming out of high school into athletic football players, linemen that you just can't get around, whether it's run blocking or trying to get around in a pass rush move.
And staying in Moorhead is Moorhead High's Brady Emerson.
Yeah, a huge deal for us to get Brady because we felt like he fit our system so well. He's a guy that's, you know, 6'4", 270, but you would never really notice that looking at him. He's athletic, he can run. When you're playing 88 plays a game, you want a guy that can play at that tempo, and we just felt like it was such a great match from that standpoint. And then to be right in our backyard even made it better. His comfortableness with the guys that we already have from Moorhead High on our team was a help, and so we think there's a high ceiling for Brady that he can really develop into a really top-end player for us.
And at 290, Jacob Klein.
Yeah, Jacob comes to us from Chisago Lakes, a guy that, you know what, is the right academic fit for us. He's a physical blocker, played both ways, and so it'll be fun to see as he just plays on one side of the football what can happen and how much he can grow into that.
Another Illinois recruit from Findlay, we have Luke Mathias.
Yeah, Luke, same hometown as Logan Long, who's currently redshirting on our team, so it was a great connection there that we got kind of out of that central Illinois region. You look at, we got a lot of players that kind of were from similar high schools or family connections or whatever it might be, and I think there's a lot of excitement about people in our program, and they're telling others, and Luke was a guy that got an inside view because of Logan Long.
And Bold High School's Jake Melhouse.
Yeah, you know, Jake's a guy that's got a huge upside. He's got big size. You know, you're looking at a guy that played in a state championship game in Minnesota. Connection there. Matt Kittleson's brother is one of the assistant coaches now in Bold, and so he got to work with him every single day, knows the upside he has. Again, a guy that we think as an athlete can really develop into a player that can play 88 plays a game. And our offensive linemen that we go after are a little bit different than maybe the typical offensive lineman because of the tempo and the speed we play.
And at 6'5", we have Isaac Ripplinger.
Yeah, another big-bodied guy out of Beulah. You know, really kind of shined through a lot of highlights defensively, but a guy that we project offensively. We saw him at camp. We like the skill set that he has, and we really feel like he's a tremendous wrestler right now. Was finished real well last year. We'll see how he finishes off his year this year in the state tournament, but a guy that you know, was highly sought after in that area, between some conference schools, made a name for himself, just a great family. It's a lot of trips to Beulah by our coaching staff, but all of them well worth it on today.
And Jake Schoonover.
Yeah, Jake Schoonover, a guy that really loved the way he finishes. You know, there's something about watching a guy and you're trying to find a way he run blocks and pass blocks and played through his senior year injured, but he will finish blocks. He will play until the echo of the whistle, which is not something that everybody does. It's not necessarily natural, but he will get guys to the ground. And so you can see there just continues to stay with his guy until the end of the play. And so that cannot go unnoticed, and we're excited to have him on board.
77 pancakes is definitely impressive.
Absolutely.
Let's round out the offense with Joe Josfold, the kicker.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions on our kicking situation from last year, and it's great. Joe is already here. He's on campus. He's working out with the team. He transferred that semester, and I know that a lot of people are wondering about that. He brings another element to the table and got a big leg, and so it's exciting to have a guy that will specialize in just kicking, that's proven what he can do to be able to be on our team in the spring and really get into the rhythm and flow of things.
And we've only covered one side of the football so far in the Dragons Live Signing Day special. We've got the defensive side coming up after this.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Thanks, Melinda.
Wait, I have blah blah insurance, so person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
You're not helping.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway. That's getting to a better state.
David Eggers in Moorhead is there to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway.
Welcome back to the Dragons Live Football Signing Day special. We just talked about all the offensive talent that the Dragon football program has recruited for this season. Let's get into the defense, starting with Jeff Stith, the D lineman.
Out of the Cavalier, North Dakota. So
Dakota.
really excited to have Jeff. You look and go, okay, our defensive line needs to get pressure, and we need to get that on the quarterback. You look and go, Jeff is 23 sacks this past season, which is an unheard of number, 45 in his career. Heck, 10 fumble recoveries.
Impressive.
I don't even know how a guy can get that many. And so, but Jeff brings some. We saw him at multiple camps this summer. A guy that I've been able to keep my eye on because of my hometown and Cavalier connections, and know the type of player he is, the type of person he has. I mean, Jeff is a phenomenally gifted academic student that had a lot of options, a lot of scholarship opportunities. It worked out the right fit here in all those phases, and so I'll tell you, I don't know if I could be more excited about adding a quality guy, again, from a 9-man school program that's been successful. The recipe that we've had for success with a lot of players here, small rural town players that have developed within our culture into talent and very successful college players.
A lot of wonderful Dragon things happening out of Cavalier. Let's head over to Lace Country in Frazee, Minnesota's Roger Thorpe.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Roger, good get for us on the defensive line, has really transformed himself from his junior year to his senior year. Some connections within the school of, a guy that Coach Hunt and I both know as our athletic director that we played with in college football. And so to have those connections, those character references, the work ethic. Roger comes from a great family, one that will fit in well with our whole established Dragon football family. But we like the way that he's got inner drive. He's got something about him that's passionately pursuing his potential to become his best self. And so we'll tell you, we need an impact player that can play on the defensive line. We feel like we got a guy that's just a tenacious pass rusher and solid against the run. Had a lot of different options within our conference, and so very excited that he chose to be a member of our Dragon football family.
And Joe Flatt from very close by, Dilworth.
Yeah, just hardly down the road, hop, skip, and a jump.
That's
and so
right.
excited to have Joe. We saw him at summer camp. We were able to get a kind of an eval on him, and certainly when the closer you are, the better picture you get. Talented young man, again, small town guy playing on both sides of the football. I really think he's got a huge upside when we can get him to focus in on one side.
Sam Olson, 5'11", 210 from West Fargo.
Yeah, Sam, has played this last season as a running back. We saw him at camp and doing defensive drills specifically, and how he moved and how he played, and so that was a projection for us. Just a great player within the community. His dad's an alum. Both him and his mom, our dad, are Moorhead community members their entire lives, and so just a great fit, not just from who he is, where he's from, the connection his family has. He can run, and that's the thing that we need at linebacker. Can a guy get to top end speed and play fast, be able to make plays? We feel like he can.
And it looks like something done here intentionally. A lot of DBs on the roster today, starting with Aaron Doan.
Yeah, Aaron's a guy that we had recruited a year ago. It worked out that he stayed close to home, wanted to get back to this area. We got Drew Lingle, one of his high school teammates, on our team. And so, again, just following through with Aaron, just a high-end academic guy. another academic scholarship type person coming out of high school. Good fit for our program, does everything that he asks off the field, on the field that we want him to do.
From Annandale, Minnesota, Spencer Hogg.
Yeah, Spencer's another good fit, and academically and as a football player, all those things go together. Had his season cut short in his senior year, but we've had some other guys that have come to our program, thrived within it, have developed. Again, I think our training staff's been phenomenal. Our strength and conditioning's been phenomenal to bring those types of players back to full speed and to be able to play at a high level within our conference.
And from Hawley, we've got Jordan Harms.
I'll tell you, Jordan Harms,
6'3", that's a big guy.
that is a big guy back at safety. He's rangy. He could put more weight on. He can run. Guy, the most valuable defensive back in the Heart of Lakes Conference, all section. 3 times, a guy that, we were able to see. We've seen him play basketball for a couple of years now. We love his athleticism. We love his competitiveness. Hawley didn't have that home field, so they're all over the place. They're at Moorhead High. I'll tell you, the people that saw him practice over there and play around, all within the community, talking about Jordan Harms, and we really feel so blessed and excited to have him on board. He's a guy that we feel like really ups our talent level at that position, and I don't know if I could say enough good things about what he brings to the table.
From the always fun to say Menominee, Derek Call.
Menominee, Derek Call, again, second player of that school. Hayden probably had a big piece to that, as Hayden made his decision first, but both of them highly active in the FCA. Derek is a guy that had most of his success as a running back. This last year was the first year he played defensive back. We knew he had the speed for it. You can see the feet for it. But 1 year at it, we're just so impressed at how well he played that position, and just thought, wow, what a high ceiling this guy can have on the football field at that position. Really excited. He had multiple offers within our conference. Excited that he chose us, because we feel like we got the right fit on the football field. We got the right fit off the football field.
Let's talk a little about Ron Olson.
Yeah, Ron, again, another fit that from a guy that we saw at camp, we're able to build a relationship from there, saw his skills. Sometimes, the camps are a great way to see drills and skills. What can they do and how do they compete against high-level talent? And sometimes it's hard within a football season for whatever reason to get that eval, but Ron and his family, I think, have been in love with our place for quite a long time. We're excited that this day has finally gotten here.
And 6'2", 207 DL native Casey Paskey.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as a guy that we recruited last year, chose to go the route of North Dakota State College of Science. Glad that we were able to get him back. Has a connection with a few of the players on our team, so that helps. His high school coach, a former Dragon in Flint Machenbacher, and so that certainly all went into this. We think that he can bring some things to the table, that a little bit mature player that got to play his freshman year instead of redshirting, so I think that's a unique piece to the program that he brings, and again, in our backyard for the most part, and so excited about that.
And that wraps up the defense. That wraps up all of the recruits we wanted to talk about today. A few themes that we discussed a little bit throughout the day. Depth for the future, all the reps that you guys take in practice and in games. But I see a lot of wide receivers, a lot of O-linemen, and a lot of DBs on this list. Talk a little bit about the class as a whole and how you guys feel you came out as recruiters.
Well, we feel pretty solid about it and feel like we addressed a lot of needs. We addressed the long-term picture of where our program needs to be, understanding that we want these guys to redshirt, and we finally are able to have them redshirt and be able to grow into the program. But you look at this list, and I think about half of them are academic scholarship type people within our university, and so to have that kind of quality student and athlete is really exciting, because they will have a key piece to our culture and to our program moving forward.
Talk a little bit about that, the kind of guys that you recruit and have recruited so far in your program, the talent, but also the academics, the person, the character things that you always look for in these student athletes?
Well, absolutely. It's a piece where it can't just be about the football. It can't just be about the numbers and do they have this height or this weight or this speed. It's got to be the whole piece to it. And that's what we've taken to heart since we've been here. That's what we look at. And so what is the story? Who are they without their helmet on? And so are they men of character? Obviously, they got to have talent, but do they have intangibles, and do they have a burning desire to be a champion off the field as much as they do on the field? And if they do, then they should be a part of the Dragon football family, and we feel like we got a bunch of guys that are those things.
Well, thank you very much. Quick thank you to Coach Laqua for joining us today. You can see highlights of all these new recruits at MSUMDragons.com/sign-day and on the @DragonAthletics Twitter account. Thank you for joining us at the Dragons Live Football Signing Day Special. A big welcome to all of our new Dragons from all of us at Dragon Athletics. Have a good night.